Hey there, it's AB from Intox-Detox and recording my second little podcast, we'll call it, video blog, whatever you want to call it. And so I had a couple things come up this weekend I wanted to talk about. I was at the Big Philly Beer Fest in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, which was an awesome event, and wanted to say thank you to them, Tori, who was awesome, the coordinator for that. I highly recommend this beer fest, one of the best that we've been to. All the volunteers were great. They sampled our product, and it was Big Philly approved. Unfortunately for the control group, they were very scientific about it, and there were people that were the placebo or control group that did not take Intox-Detox, and they did not feel very good the next day. Everyone else felt great, was what I heard from all the volunteers. And to my workers, who were awesome, Carrie, Hannah, and Natalie, who did an awesome job. They were rock stars, supporting the cause, talking to people, looking beautiful, and doing a great job just helping me out so that I could run around and pass out some samples to the volunteers and the brewers and all the other people. We will be at the Pittsburgh Beer Fest, which is happening February 23rd and 24th, so that's like a month and a week out or so. Do the math. But what I really want to talk about today is something that came up at the beer fest, and it comes up a lot, so I want to address it because I like to share with you guys all of the knowledge that I have about the product and about liver detox so that you can understand where we're coming from. It's frustrating to me that I get these kinds of we'll call them confrontations with people, but it also shows me what I need to communicate to people better, how I can better communicate the value and basically the, I guess you would say, value proposition of our product. So the question that has come up a couple of times in some of these events, a lot of times when I deal with medical professionals, with nurses, with doctors, you know, they look at the product and they just don't see how it could work. So I try to explain that one of the main ways that it works is by speeding up liver function. So what do I mean when I say that? Well, basically, our main ingredient has been clinically proven to increase the speed at which your body breaks down the toxin from alcohol. That toxin is acetaldehyde. So we have a real biological target in the liver. It's the toxin acetaldehyde. Just as a review, when you drink ethanol or any kind of alcohol, beer, wine, liquor, anything, it goes to your liver. It's all ethanol, and it needs to be broken down, and it's broken down in a two-step process. So the ethanol meets the liver enzyme ADH, which is alcohol dehydrogenase, and that breaks down into acetaldehyde, which is what we're specifically targeting. Now, that nasty chemical is really the root cause of why you feel so awful the next day. So the faster you break it down, the more you'll protect your body and the better you'll feel the next day. So acetaldehyde in step 2 of alcohol metabolism meets the liver enzyme ALDH2. Now remember that. I know this is a boring chemistry lesson, but if you remember nothing else, remember the liver enzyme ALDH2. That's the one that actually breaks the acetaldehyde down into harmless acetic acid, which is basically similar to vinegar. It's inert, it's harmless in the body. You're either going to pee it out or you're going to recycle it into the Krebs cycle producing ATP, this kind of thing for energy purposes. So this is where people get lost, because even the medical professionals, some of them don't know how their livers work. They're not liver specialists. Unless you're a liver specialist, even a doctor friend of mine didn't remember this process for metabolizing alcohol. So if they don't know what we're talking about, if they're talking about apples and I'm talking about oranges, how am I ever going to make them understand? So one of the things that they get lost at is, even if they understand how the liver works, they understand that we're targeting ALDH2. They don't know how specifically. How are we actually increasing that enzyme to achieve what we're promising, which the clinical research says that we're speeding up the breakdown of this toxin from alcohol? Well, the honest answer is we don't exactly know. A lot of supplements, even for example vitamin C, you know, people still don't understand eating an orange, like all the components of vitamin C, all the antioxidants and the what you would call citrus bioflavonoids in an orange, for example. All these things are not fully understood. That's an orange, something that's very well known in our society, and vitamin C, which has been studied a lot. Another example is green tea. They still don't completely understand all the antioxidants, polyphenols, and flavonoids in the green tea itself that are providing the benefit. What they do know is that it's very safe. We're talking about green tea, and that it provides many, many benefits to the body. So let's talk about what we do know about our main ingredient. We know that our main ingredient has been proven to help break down acetaldehyde faster, the toxin from alcohol. We also know that it's safe. There's human safety data on it. Aside from that, it's been tested for safety, but it's been used for a very, very long time, much like green tea and other traditional Chinese herbs. It's effective. It's been clinically proven. If you want to get down to the chemical constituent side of things, Japanese raisin contains an active called DHM. It stands for dihydromyricetin. It's similar to quercetin. If you know supplements, quercetin is another component that comes from apples and onions and citrus fruits, and it's very good for your body and for, in some ways, increasing athletic performance. So DHM, we know it's similar to quercetin. We need to do more research on this, but what we do know is that it works in the real world. So what I say to people is, look, I can explain this until I'm blue in the face, and I do. But at the end of the day, you know what a hangover feels like. The product is proven safe. It's clinically proven to work. Give it a try. You'll know if you have a hangover or if you don't. That's the best we can do right now. We're a small family company. We don't have the millions of dollars to do all the testing that we want to do. I'd love to do all this research. We need to do more research. But acting on what we know, we can apply the science that is there, and we know it's safe, we know it's effective, we can apply that science, and when you do it, when you actually try it, you'll know that you don't have a hangover. You'll know the difference. I mean, that's why we've done these samples, and we have samplers and customers of over 100,000 people in the last 4 years, and overwhelmingly positive results and positive feedback. So we know that it works. We take it ourselves. And for someone to say that it's a placebo effect is kind of insulting. I mean, the specific thing that somebody said was that, oh, it's no better than taking a tablespoon of yeast. Well, that's not true, because yeast actually does contain the enzyme that we want, ALDH2, and maybe that's why that guy said it. Maybe he's a little smarter than I give him credit for. But the problem with taking yeast is that it's really just a source of B vitamins. The enzyme in it is broken down in your stomach before it can get to where it needs to be to help break down the toxins. That's why we're using an herbal approach that naturally coaxes your liver to produce more of the liver enzyme that we need, because we're getting around that problem of when you put the enzyme in your system, when you actually eat the enzyme, it doesn't make it into your bloodstream intact, so it can't do what we want it to do. A perfect example of how this works, the upregulating or increasing the production of that enzyme, the critical enzyme ALDH2, is there's a drug called antabuse. Now, antabuse does exactly the opposite of what the main ingredient in Intox-Detox does. Antabuse is a drug that is given to alcoholics because it, instead of speeding up liver function, it actually blocks liver function. It blocks that ALDH2 enzyme. So what happens is, the end result is, anybody that takes antabuse and then drinks even like one beer immediately gets the symptoms of a very severe hangover. So they might throw up, they'll get very queasy, they'll feel very sick. So this is what you might call aversion therapy. They're actually making these people sick to help them avoid drinking. Now there's ethical questions about that, and maybe it helps, maybe it doesn't, because it seems like people are still trying to drink even though they're taking the drug. So, their addiction, I guess, is just that bad that they don't mind feeling terrible just to get that drink. Our product is not for alcoholics. Our product is not for binge drinkers. It's for socially responsible drinkers who, they want to protect their liver and give them a little boost to get the toxins out faster. So if you think of Intox-Detox as the opposite of antabuse, there's clinically proven results that show that it helps to break down that main toxin, which antabuse actually helps to increase the toxin. So it's the opposite effect. Instead of feeling more sick, when you take Intox-Detox, you feel less sick and you get that nasty toxin out faster. So that is the best example I can give you that shows a real world thing, telling you that the DHM is the main ingredient in the Intox-Detox Japanese raisin, and giving you basically what amounts to the opposite of Intox-Detox, which is a drug called antabuse. Obviously, we are not a drug. We're a natural dietary supplement. We don't claim to treat, cure, diagnose, or prevent any disease. We do claim to help protect the liver, which we're allowed to make that claim based on the research behind our product. Now, that's not even accounting for the other 3 ingredients in our product. So we like to think of Japanese raisin, the main ingredient with the DHM, as like the, let's call it the superstar, the rock star of the product. It's the toxin avenger. It helps your body to deal with that main toxin, acetaldehyde. The second ingredient, cetriol-glutathione, is a patented, also clinically proven ingredient that's shown to increase your body's levels of the master antioxidant glutathione, which is very protective. It's one of the most important antioxidants in your body, and it decreases with age, and it's used up when you drink alcohol. So replacing it is just a no-brainer, and it basically can help to protect organs in your body from toxins like acetaldehyde. It's also a critical component in breaking down the acetaldehyde that goes through your liver when you metabolize alcohol. So now we've got 2 clinically proven superstar ingredients. Cetria, they have their clinical research that they've proven that their ingredient is effective. That's why we bought them instead of a cheaper material, because we know that it's proven and it works well. So Cetria, we call that the bouncer. That's your body's bouncer. Like, imagine your body is a party or a nightclub, and that's the big guy at the door that doesn't let the toxins in or bounces them out when they start to cause a problem at the party. So Japanese raisin is the rock star, Cetria is the bouncer. What does that make green tea and our Panax ginseng? Well, we use them not just arbitrarily because they have antioxidants or because they're good for you or they balance or energize. They do all of that, but they also specifically help to target increasing glutathione levels in your body, which is the antioxidant that protects you, and they also seem to have a direct effect on helping to detoxify alcohol from the system. There's preliminary research on that. Of course, more research needs to be done. We'd love to fund that research, but what we know is, like I said, they're safe and they work. So Intox-Detox contains green tea and Panax ginseng for their ability to help detoxify the same chemical that we've been targeting all along, acetaldehyde. And you'll notice if you do this experiment, because I did it when we were developing the product, I would test the product, but I would also test other things. I tested taking Panax ginseng by itself. I took green tea by itself and observed the results. Even green tea alone and Panax ginseng alone both help. But when you combine them all into this formula, you get synergy, which is 1 + 1 + 1 equals 20 instead of 4. So if that makes sense, you know, I think everybody understands what synergy means. But these are the answers to the tough questions, and that's what this little project is for me to answer those tough questions, explain to you, not only what's happening in the real world, but the theory behind the product and why we did it as we did it. I mean, we put a lot of thought into this. My personal time is nearly 10 years in research, looking at the different components, doing research, talking to friends of mine that are biochemists, that are really smart people, doctors, and then finally, in 2013, we actually hired people and spent a ton of money to get the experts that are FDA compliance experts, that are experts on supplement research, to go and check our work and make sure that what we were doing was going to work. And what happened is, when that research came back, we found out that it was not only what we imagined, but it was better than we imagined. The ingredients combined together create a better result than we had ever imagined. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this up because I want to keep these things brief, but I'll be back as frequently as I can with more posts to answer these hard questions, tell you about our events, that both past and present, one's upcoming that we're going to be at, so maybe you can come out and meet us and get to know me and have some beers with me, because I'm a pretty easygoing, fun guy. As long as you don't call my product BS to my face, at least before you do, speak your mind. It's a free country. You can say whatever you want, but at least listen to reason and listen to the things I have to say and the theories and the research and the anecdotal evidence behind the product. And for that matter, just try it. I mean, it's not going to hurt. We know that the ingredients are GRAS, generally recognized as safe via the FDA. The FDA, that's how they qualify these ingredients. So it's certainly not going to hurt, and it might help a lot. And from my experience and from all the people that I've seen that have used Intox-Detox, I know it does help, and it will help you if you take it as it's suggested. So that's it for me. Enjoy the rest of your day, and check back for more important, exciting, and educational posts from me, Andy Bennett with Intox-Detox. AB out.